Thank you so much for taking time for the interview. And how are you doing? How is everything going, firstly?
Thank you for having me. And everything is going very well. I have a bit of a hangover because it was my birthday yesterday. We had
happy birthday!
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
And we had a little bit of a celebration going on, but it was really a good party. All my friends came over. It was a surprise.
That's nice. That's nice.
Great.
Yeah. How is the situation there in Switzerland? Is everything okay?
It's a bit on the edge now like we have voting coming up end of November. You know, we're Swiss, we always go to vote, and I think this will, if it is a yes, it will have an impact on concerts as well, because it will probably go to 2G.
Okay. Yeah, we have that in Germany as well.
That's a bit of like, we have 2 concerts planned, and I'm a bit worried.
Let's see about that. Okay.
Because I really don't want to postpone anything anymore.
I can imagine, especially for bands. I will come to that, but Okay. Before we actually go to the album, congratulations! I really loved it. The debut album. I want to ask about the band first, because I read a bit about Wazzara, but can you tell us a bit about how the band was formed? Was it something that you had in your mind for a while? Was it something that just came up? How was the band formed, basically?
Okay. It was at the beginning. It was like a solo project. I was still in another band, More, and I just had the idea of simply doing my own music, my own compositions. And when I broke up with More, and in 2018, it became more like a focus project, really. And and I think you can see it's a very personal project.
Definitely.
Really, it's close to my person and everything, with the name and all the stuff. So and then I just missed the stage, and it was clear that at some point this should be a band out of the solo project. And I asked then Messi, who was also the guitarist in More earlier, and George, with whom I worked a lot on sound projects earlier. He's also sound engineer. Now he's playing the bass.
That's great.
And and the drum situation was a bit like on and off the relationship. But now I hope we are safe with Dennis, who is now playing the live drums.
Okay. So can we say you are a solid band now, or will it be like changing members?
I feel like we are a solid band now. But still, it's very special because I write the songs, and this is also very important to me. It's like still my idea, but sometimes it's a bit difficult to still get them on board, because I'm not like, you know, a diva that is like you just have to play and do what I want. That's not the idea.
But that's also not how it sounds. I can tell you that.
Okay, that's good.
No, that's not how it sounds.
I'm happy.
That's great. What does Wazzara mean?
This is Old High German, and it means the waterborne. Born from water.
Okay. All right, that's very interesting. That would be like so coming back to the album, surely nature is one of the big inspirations. I can really feel that. It's also the theme of the album. And you said it's a personal album. What are your personal inspirations for music, but also for this album? Like, what did you get inspired from, apart from nature? Is it like many things, or was it personal things that you experienced? Can you tell us a bit about the themes, for example, of the album? How did it evolve, the inspirations?
I think the main inspiration is our very personal experiences in life. It's as simple as it sounds. It's like mainly from bad experiences, or also psychological patterns that I use my music for process such things. And I always see mirrors in nature, and that's where nature comes in. But it's very like, for example, one song on the new album is to process a very unhealthy relationship that infected me a lot, and also like I had years to get over it and to to sort out how it infected me and what are my borders now because of this experience. So I think it's very personal, but I like to hide it in a poetic form, some kind, or disguise somehow. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. And the album, how did you record it? Did you actually record it during the pandemic? I wanted to ask, like, how did the pandemic affect it? Did it not affect you at all, or were there complications? I like to ask this to bands because I'm really curious how the process is. Like, I have a 9-to-5 job, right? I wasn't affected that much, but I think for you artists, when you record albums, a big event like a pandemic could have a huge impact, or maybe not. So how was it pandemic wise? How was the recording process as well? So do you write and record everything yourself, or is it like a collaborative, or was it a collaborative process in this album?
It was a really, really great collaboration because we didn't have a fixed drummer then. We asked Andre from Dordedu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he played the drums on the album.
Really cool, yeah.
It was really cool. I think it was such a win to have him on the album because he has a very special groove, and the songs in their structure are rather simple, and he made something very special out of it. So it was, he's like the key point on this album for me. And so he was in Romania anyway. The pandemic or not, he would be there, and so we just transferred files from our homes to his home, and this worked out very well because he also has his studio. So and the rest we recorded in our homes, and the pandemic didn't affect. I think it affected. It was the other way around. So we just started up, and this way we didn't have any pressure to be like, but now we have to go on stage and we have to be there live. So we could really retreat and just do the album, and it didn't affect us as much as other bands that were already
touring or And how long when did you start recording the album? How long did it take?
We did it all, I think, in May. This year. And before we had a crowdfunding going on in April.
Yeah.
It was so cool. We didn't know how it would turn out and if we could do the album or not. And then I think by the end of April, it was clear that we have the money.
That's great. It's a great way, I think, for artists. It's amazing.
Yeah. First, I was really like, no, I don't want to be like, oh, give me money.
No, but I think,
yeah.
That's so good. That's so great. And you talked about the album being a personal reflection from your side. What's this one song that is kind of that's like a highlight? Is it the song that you talked about the unhealthy relationship, or do you have any other highlights from the album? Your personal highlights.
That's a hard question for me. I think this song I talked about is Ancestral Bonds. And I do love this. It's one of my highlights from the album. Also musically, because I somehow managed to get an old idea I had for a long time into that song. This is something that to me is very hard often. And I do enjoy that very much regarding atmosphere and storytelling.
Okay, very interesting. And the cover song, so that was really surprising because I'm a huge Typhoon Negative fan as well. I was really surprised. I guess that was your idea too, right? Do you want to what other cover songs would you like to do in the future? That kind of made me wonder.
That's a good question. actually, I do not like making cover songs, or if you do something out of it yourself. And so I'm always like, I I don't know, I'm a bit of ambivalent about it. Like, is it disrespectful to take a piece of art of someone else and just make it your own? So we did that Typo Negative song really deliberately in our very, very own version, because I would not want to fuck up with Typo Negative.
Yeah, but I think the interpretation turned out great from a female perspective, especially. So would you like to do, I mean, you don't want to do any other cover songs then, or do you have like, if it would happen?
Yeah, we have one song from Paradise Lost.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, and we are just now about to see how we could play, because they also use 7 strings guitars and we don't. And to me it's very important that it's still like sounding like Wazzara, and not like, we don't want to imitate Paradise Lost, because we couldn't.
We couldn't. That's also not the point, in my opinion, at least. So,
okay.
And about your sound, so I get like, when I listen to the album, I got like post-rock vibes sometimes, like Alcest like vibes. Folk is in there, a bit of doom is in there. How would you describe your own sound from your own perspective? Because I really like bands who don't just like follow one pattern, but just like that's my take on it, but just like mix everything. And sometimes if it's too much, it's too much, of course. But in this case, I really thought it was done very well. How would you describe your own sound from your own perspective to someone who has never listened to your band before, for example?
I came up with the term moon gaze for that reason, because I also find it very hard, and I don't want to stand on anyone's feet by just telling this is post-metal, and they're like, no, it's not. So I came up with this term because it's like, I would call it dreamy, black gaze, post-metal, post-rock, something very, I think the dreamy is very important element.
Are you inspired by the nights, or by dark, or is it and
by the moon? Very much, like, this is something that's always coming up in my songs, like moon and its cycles and all this stuff, growing and inclining again. That's very important. And so, I think the moon is like the main theme.
Okay, that's very interesting. Very cool. Apart from that, actually, you mentioned a few concerts, I guess in Switzerland though, right? Are you like planning on any other gigs, or even online gigs maybe? Is it
online? Online we didn't plan anything, and I don't know if we are now in a state that there is any demand for that. I don't know. And so we didn't even think about it, but now you bring it up, so probably.
I mean, that was a thing last year, right? And many bands tried that because they really had to be occupied or something. But I hope we get to see you live in Germany. It would be great.
I hope too. We're really focusing now. Now the album is done, and we are focusing now on playing live and going on stage. And I really would love to play outside Switzerland, of course. To play in Germany.
That would be great. That would be great.
That is.
I don't have any other questions, actually. Do you have any last words before we close the interview?
I thank you very much for taking your time. And I also read your review, and it was like, to me, very special. Sorry for getting in this gender subject now, but it was special that a woman is writing the review, and a woman has given her attention to cycles, because this is a very, very key subject also from this wild feminine thing.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed your review a lot. It really, really touched me.
That's great. That's great to know. Yeah, I also
Thank you
think
so
it's,
much.
but it really makes sense with the moon, and you also mentioned the water. So it really has this like dreamy, you know, moon, and like nighttime you are by the lake. I don't know, I just imagined that, like you're by the lake and there's the full moon, and
Yeah,
it's the vibe that I get. That's why I asked if you get inspired by night and by darkness, because
yeah.
the album is heavily inspired by nature. One last question that popped into my mind. It's just in general, because Switzerland is a country with a lot of nature, right? You are basically surrounded by lakes, by mountains. Do you think if you had lived somewhere else, would it have been different for you, artist-wise?
I mean, I don't know, but I could imagine, or I believe that nature or your I'm sorry, your surrounding really infects how you, I don't know, yeah, how you process these things. And probably if I lived in a more bare nature or something, it would be, I don't know, darker, or but it's hard to tell. Of course, it's hard to tell, because I did live abroad, but not for such a long time that I could tell like it changed something.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was all from my side. And
Thank you.
congratulations again. I really enjoyed the album, and I hope we get to see each other. I would also love to come to Switzerland to see you live, but let's see how it will turn out.
That would be great. Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
All right. Thank you so
Put it up.
much. Cheers
Thank
from
you,
Hamburg,
Wazzara.
and have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you so much. Bye, Wazzara. Bye.